Those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. This is Success with Srini. If it's professional growth, personal growth, financial growth, or relationship growth, we're talking about it. One show, one topic. Diving in deep with practical and useful insights that will change and transform your life. Welcome to Success with Srini. And now your host, Srini Sarapalli.
If you master your emotions, you can win over the world. Emotional mastery is the topic of discussion today on this podcast. Welcome back to Success with Srini. Numerous times I have made this point on this podcast that if I have to choose between logic and emotions, I would go with emotions. Yes, with a logical mind, we think. Logic gives us ideas. Logic gives us opinions. Logic also gives us the root for our beliefs. That's true. So logical thinking does play a big role in our success. But then our emotions dominate. You've seen this in your life. You probably have seen this. Every time you have a conflict within yourself where logically you want to do something, but then emotionally your emotions are somewhere, then usually who wins? Emotions win. And I recorded a video on my YouTube channel now talking about this, talking about conflicts and how conflicts arise. So every time you talk to somebody who is emotionally charged and you try to explain something logically to them, guess who wins? They win. So clearly, even though logically we can make choices, the success of the choice is through our emotions, is through our beliefs. And the difference between a belief and emotion is very simple. Emotions, when over a long period of time, create our belief systems. So emotions have energy in them. Thoughts do not have, energy behind them. There's a lot of there's a lot of literature on this. So the true definition, I don't know who came up with this, but a long time ago, somebody came up with this. They said, emotions are energy in motion, energy in motion. So clearly, the minute you start putting energy behind your thoughts become emotions, and a lot more energy behind your emotions, they become your beliefs, your convictions. And beliefs, in turn, give rise to our behavior, and our behavior leads to actions, and actions get us to results. So the cycle is pretty defined. It's this amazing cycle. Now, I'll give you an example, and I first saw this as a young man. I first realized this in the year 1990. I was in India. There was this huge boxing bout between Mike Tyson and Buster Douglas. And huge thing. It was promoted all over the media, all over the world. Obviously, I was supporting Mike Tyson. He was the greatest star back in the day, even today too. It's amazing how that man has come, how far he has come spiritually. Mike Tyson lost that bout. He lost that game. And it's crazy. With a 42-1, how could somebody like Mike Tyson lose out a game like that? Like, nobody gave Buster Douglas a chance. I mean, he was not even rated to win. And Buster Douglas pulled out the biggest upset in the sporting history on that day in Japan in 1990. Now, let's look into this. And why am I highlighting this? In that moment, that happened then. And then there was a review in the newspaper. A few weeks later, there was an article in the newspaper. I don't know, this was back either in Sunday or it was in some magazine back in India. There was a magazine called Sunday back then. It used to come every Sunday. Or India Today, maybe India Today, I'm not sure. They said the reason why Buster Douglas was able to pull off this upset, and the reason why he defeated Mike Tyson, was because Buster Douglas was emotionally at a better state. His emotions, not his skill, emotions. Now, later on, and the article explains what happened and why it happened. It turns out that Buster Douglas lost his mother just 23 days before this fight. And she was 46 years old. She was young, she died. And 23 days later, Buster Douglas is coming to fight, and look his emotional state. Like he was literally coming, this tremendous amount of pain within him, and he just unleashed himself. Now, if you, subsequent to that, in the interviews that I've seen, Buster Douglas claims that he had an incredible strategy. His coach had a strategy, so that is why he won. But the truth is that he was leading that bout with a set of emotions. He's coming from a whole different place, and Tyson was not. That's the truth. Now, just if you want to know what happened subsequent to that, and I think this is also very important to mention here on the podcast, is subsequent to this whole thing, afterwards, Don King, who was promoting Mike Tyson, was trying to get a second rematch. And the reasoning behind that was, there was a point when Mike Tyson knocked Buster Douglas in the fight. And the referee did not start the count on time. So Buster Douglas recovered from the fall and came back and defeated Mike Tyson. So there was a lot of controversy around, the count didn't start in time, so all that. So there was this thing, Don King wanted a rematch, and most of Mike Tyson's fans, they all wanted a rematch. So Don King wanted a rematch, and he was working on it, but it never happened. But then Buster Douglas, soon after this fight, there was a rematch, so he had to defend the title. So he defended the title against Evander Holyfield. And in that rematch, the rematch happened, but then against Evander Holyfield. And Evander Holyfield defeated Buster Douglas in the third round. And guess why? This time, Buster Douglas had no emotional reason to fight. He was coming from a whole different place this time. The emotional state was not there. You see, he even gained weight. He was like 14 pounds heavier than the time he fought Tyson. So it was not in the right place. And then Buster Douglas retired right after this game. And he was gone for like 6 years or so. And then eventually came back and tried to come back into the game. He won a few things here and there, but then never really came back and got back the glory. So even today, people know him because he created the biggest upset in the boxing world by defeating Tyson. Now, there has to be a meaning in everything you do. That's the point of this. And if you make the meaning big and bigger and greater, you create, your chances of creating success go high. Logically, you might be there, but then emotionally, when you bring your emotions, your beliefs in the game. Listen, on the day, anybody who is running the 100-meter race in an Olympic for the Olympic gold medal, anybody could win. Why one wins? Because they have a better, bigger meaning, better preparation, obviously, but better meaning, bigger meaning. On that day, they won the gold medal. And that was not the day for the rest of the 9 people. Very simple. So, look into your emotions, look into your belief systems, strengthen them as much as you can. Of course, keep your logic intact, but then if you hold on to your beliefs and emotions and you keep on strengthening them on a daily basis, you create the success that you are looking at, or whatever the outcome you're seeking. That's all for now. Hopefully, today's podcast will motivate you. We'll come back tomorrow and we'll talk a little bit more. But then, I'm a boxing enthusiast myself, and that's why all this is coming. That's where I'm coming from. Okay, talk soon. Bye now.
You've been listening to Success with Srini. Srini is committed to changing and transforming your life, whether it's professional growth, personal growth, financial growth, or relationship growth. Srini has positively touched the lives of over 1 million people through his seminars, webinars, workshops, and radio shows. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review. And we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hit up the YouTube channel at Success with Srini and the website at www.srinisarapalli.com. Remember, improvement begins with I. See you next time on Success with Srini.